Torrington man will be spending life in prison after pleading no contest to murdering his girlfriend. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, a Torrington man has agreed to a plea deal that will avoid trial and a potential death sentence in connection with a series of events back in April that included the death of a 20-year-old woman. Sean Pettis has pleaded no contest to an amended charge of second-degree murder in the death of Madison Cook and guilty to charges of first-degree arson, felony theft, and 2 counts of burglary. County Attorney Eric Boyer tells KNEB News the state could have sought the death penalty, but it has been more than 2 decades since there's been an execution in Wyoming. Instead, Pettis will face life in prison on the murder charge and consecutive sentences on all other counts. Sentencing is expected to occur sometime this fall. Pettis came to Torrington after being granted early parole from Wyoming Medium Correctional Institution, stemming from a burglary conviction from Cody, Wyoming. Well, Scottsbluff police say a housekeeper was able to defend herself from an attack by 2 guests of the motel she was working at Tuesday. Sergeant Philip Eckerberg says officers were dispatched with Scottsbluff firefighters and Valley Ambulance shortly before 11 a.m. to the Super 8 motel regarding a reported stabbing. Eckerberg says the investigation showed a housekeeper was cleaning a room when 2 guests noticed her and entered the room and started to assault her while trapping her inside. The housekeeper used a box cutter to defend herself and was able to escape from the room as the suspects chased her. She was able to make it to the lobby for help and police were notified. 27-year-old Elsie Bravo and 34-year-old Rita Morales, both of Scottsbluff, were cited for third-degree assault. Eckerberg says investigators determined the incident was not a random assault, as the suspects and the victim were acquaintances and had prior conflicts. He says a witness reported that the suspects appeared to have been drinking prior to the assault. Well, coming up after the break, Bill Boyer's in with your midweek forecast. I love that. Right after this on KNEB.TV News.
At Platte Valley Bank, we believe it shouldn't cost you money to access your money. That's why we offer free ATMs anytime, anywhere. Whether you are across town or traveling abroad, there won't be an added expense to access the funds in your Platte Valley Bank account. Free ATMs are just one of the great benefits of banking with us. Stop by to talk to one of our friendly associates to discuss what else Platte Valley Bank has to offer.
At Elite Physical Therapy, we provide preventative and rehabilitative treatments that maximize function and promote well-being for patients of all ages. With 2 locations in Scottsbluff and Gering, we offer the convenience of you choosing your location with the same great services no matter where you go. Stop into one of our locations today, in Scottsbluff at 214 West 27th Street or in Gering at 10th and M Street, and see what Elite Physical Therapy can do for you. Treatment you need and care you deserve.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, going to be mainly clear to partly cloudy skies across the area through the overnight into the early morning hours tomorrow. A very small chance of a shower or storm around this evening. A slightly better chance tomorrow, but there's not going to be very many. Otherwise, we have dry, warm conditions coming for the next 7 days. It'll be hot at times as well. About every 2 days or so, a system comes through, cools us down a couple of degrees, and then we warm back up. Certainly a hot one yesterday at 99 after a morning low of 55 degrees. Nothing in the rain gauge, and we're well short for the month and the year. Here's what we look at for current temperatures right now. Upper 90s, near 100 there in central Kansas. Otherwise, we have 80s here across most of the Cornhusker State. 79 in Mullen and Gordon. Otherwise, 80s and near 90 there in Wheatland. Very warm, mild conditions for this time of year. Winds are at about 10 to 20 miles an hour, especially in a couple of those showers and storms that might be out. We do have a marginal risk of severe storms here in our area today. Not going to see a ton of storms, but if we do see some, again, a marginal risk that they may turn severe. Now, tomorrow, we have a slightly better chance of some severe storms, even a slight risk of severe weather here in central and northern portions of the Nebraska Panhandle. It looks like damaging winds would be the primary threat for many of the storms tomorrow, and that severe threat moves off to the north on Friday. Our bus stop forecast, hopping on the bus tomorrow, we're going to see mostly, partly cloudy skies. 62 your temperatures you get on the bus, and heading home with more clouds out there, and around 91, a stray shower or storm on the way home tomorrow as well. Futurecast has an isolated storm dying out there in central and eastern portions of our region that will move out and eventually die off as it slides into central Nebraska. Low temperatures overnight going to be in the 50s to near 60 degrees. Now for tomorrow, we have mostly sunny skies for a period, then partly cloudy skies, and mostly cloudy skies work their way in through the afternoon. And then there comes another slight chance of some thunderstorms across the region. Again, some of them may contain some damaging winds. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It's going to turn warmer again tomorrow as well. We're back into the 90s for most of us. And then precip-wise, again, if you get under some of those showers, you could see some heavier rainfall. Could see a half an inch or more. Many of us not going to see rain, or a trace to just a couple of hundredths at best. Mostly clear tonight. A slight chance of a storm. Lows down around 60. For tomorrow, a stray thunderstorm. 93 your high. So we get a little warmer tomorrow. We stay there on Friday back into the mid-90s. Cooling back into the upper 80s to near 90 for the weekend. Upper 90s return for Monday, Tuesday of next week, and mid-90s continue on into Wednesday.
Next, check out our beer and spirits with their everyday low prices. Finally, let us work for you with our full-service gas station and automatic truck and car wash. All this can be found at 822 South Beltline in Scottsbluff. Western Travel Terminal, your convenient shopping, restaurant, and full-service gas leader.
The Verizon family is full of frowns because they're spending too much for their unlimited data and phones, while the VIAERO family is all smiles because they're getting 4 lines of unlimited data with 2 free Apple iPhone SE for mom and dad and 2 free LG K31 smartphones for the kids, all for just $100 a month. They're saving so much, they're able to get Fido. Find out how you can too at VIAERO.com or your nearest VIAERO store. VIAERO Wireless, keeping you connected.
Why love a rain garden? Let me count the ways. Rain gardens contain and filter water runoff while recharging our underground water supply. They provide habitat for birds, bees, and beneficial insects. Native perennials give 4 seasons of color and texture, beautifying a home while increasing its value. Established gardens are low-maintenance, low-water landscape features. Colorful, functional, and sustainable. Rain gardens. Brought to you by Tri-City Stormwater. Our water, our responsibility.
Welcome back. Authorities have arrested 2 panhandle men after one of them allegedly helped the other leave the scene of an injury accident in Morrill County this past Saturday. Arrest warrants were served yesterday on 47-year-old Michael Hain and 40-year-old Joseph Edwards following investigation of the incident. Hain is alleged to have been driving a Mercedes westbound on County Road 108 and failed to observe a stop sign and collided with a southbound Chevy sedan. The driver of the Chevy told deputies that the Mercedes driver took beer cans out of the vehicle and hid them in the grass and was picked up by another man driving a flatbed pickup, and the pair did not return. First responders at the scene identified the pickup driver as Edwards, who told deputies over the phone that Hain was driving the Mercedes. In a phone call the next day, deputies say Hain admitted to being the driver involved in the crash and that Edwards took him from the scene. Charges filed against Hain include failure to stop and render aid and tampering with evidence, both Class 3A and 4 felonies. Edwards has been charged with felonies of aiding and abetting a felony and felony accessory. Well, the Gering City Council on Monday evening rejected a landowner's request to rezone a now vacant lot from residential to heavy commercial following a staff recommendation against the move. The property at 1750 6th Street had been the site of an apartment complex that was destroyed in a fire a number of years ago, with owner Duncan Baker proposing to put in storage units. While Baker noted there was commercial property on the north side of the street, City Engineer Annie Folk said the recommendation against the plan was based on the comp plan and future land use.
We feel that it's important to be careful about letting commercial start encroaching into residential areas because, when we look at planning, it's very important to look at buffers, and having a street there is a pretty good buffer. It's a clear delineation between the commercial and the residential.
Baker told the council he had tried to sell the property, but no one expressed an interest in purchasing it because of the residential zoning. The request failed to garner a motion to approve the rezoning application. And Nebraska appears relatively safe on some national websites tracking the spread of COVID-19, but state health officials say those maps are not accurate. The problem is that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has been using different data for Nebraska since the state retired its website that reported virus figures daily. Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services spokeswoman Olga Dak said the CDC used to rely on the state's daily dashboard for its data, but said officials recently discovered that the federal agency has been using the percentage of positive COVID-19 tests for Nebraska counties instead of the per capita case counts it uses for most other states. Well, coming up after the break, the Scottsbluff Police Department is in the midst of another grant initiative to crack down on drunk driving. We'll have that story right after this.
Hey, I've been hanging out here a long time outside of Panhandle Auto Group, and boy, do they have a great selection of vehicles.
And their sales team is great to work with, and you can also get your vehicle serviced and detailed too.
Welcome to Panhandle Auto. This is Sam Serta, General Sales Manager. It has been our pleasure to serve you for the past 2 years. At Panhandle Auto, we have a seat for everybody. Whether you need a vehicle for yourself, a son or daughter, our team will go above and beyond to satisfy your needs and even your dreams. So again, thank you from Sam Serta, General Sales Manager at Panhandle Auto, for allowing us to earn your business. At Panhandle Auto,
it's time for something different.
Why settle for Wi-Fi that just usually works? Why settle for customer service that's subpar? Why settle for service that's outdated? You don't have to. Settle for more with Allo, the faster, more reliable internet experience that's built for the way you use all your devices. For answers, visit us at allofiber.com/switch today. Allo, settle for more.
In boots, new and old, you've walked the rows of life, a fence length of time. You fought the floods, snow, and sweltering heat, and lifted breathing and settled pain. With a smile and a cry, you've strengthened your community and future generations. Sometimes with nothing to say. Often can't say enough. Like, let me do it again.
Welcome back. The Scottsbluff Police Department is currently in the midst of their Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. Sergeant Phil Eckerberg says the grant provides overtime funding for extra patrol officers.
Well, this particular grant is specifically looking for impaired drivers, whether it's impaired by alcohol, prescription medication, illegal drugs, looking for impaired drivers of all types. This is one of 4 grants that we participate in every year. 2 of the grants are seatbelt enforcement grants and 2 of the grants are DUI grants. This will be the 2nd grant of the year. First one was around Memorial Day, and then this one here will be Labor Day time period.
He says the timing to coincide with Labor Day, the last holiday weekend of the summer, is no coincidence.
All holidays are more likely to have alcohol abuse occurring. This one is particularly important because it's the last holiday of summer. Everybody's going to get their last summer fling in. And of course, unfortunately, some people feel it necessary to overdrink or use whatever it is and then go out and drive. Our job is to make sure that they don't hurt anybody and that we can get them before they do hurt anybody. That's the purpose of having the saturation patrols out there looking for these people.
Sergeant Eckerberg says if you want to imbibe, that's all right. But if you do, just ensure you have a sober ride to get you back home.
You know, if there's any doubt in your mind at all, if you're feeling even the slightest effect from that alcohol, make arrangements to have somebody else drive you. Family, friend, make some sort of arrangement. If you know you're planning on going someplace, and you know you're planning on drinking, and we all know how it is, you have one and then you gotta have another and then you lose count and start counting again, as the old song goes. So if you know you're planning on drinking, make sure you have that plan already made ahead of time to have a sober driver, a designated driver that's going to see to it everybody gets home safely. And if you are the designated driver, that means you don't drink at all, not that you drink less than everybody else. I've arrested several designated drivers for drunk driving in my career, because although they were the least drunk of all the people in the car, they were still impaired.
The U.S. Department of Transportation National Highway Safety Administration says during the 2019 Labor Day holiday period, 45% of all fatal crashes involved drivers who had been drinking. In Scottsbluff, Ryan Murphy, KNEB.TV News.
Welcome to Kelly's, home of the Valley's best selection of wine, spirits, and beer. Whether you're brand loyal to the tried and true brew or really enjoy trying something different and new, Kelly's has something for everyone. Family owned and operated and right on your way on West 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Kelly's Liquor. If you can't find it at Kelly's, it's not worth drinking.
When it comes to helping local folks with the loans and financial advice they need, we don't horse around. Our only goal is to help you and your family achieve your financial goals with the right loans and savings products. So if you want to bank with people that care about you and your financial needs, stop by or give us a call. First State Bank. We're big on you. Member FDIC. Online at fsbcentral.com.
Well, let's take a peek at what's happening on your midweek community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at fsbcentral.com. If you're like me, you're willing to travel for a good steak and a great dining experience. Bobby Joe's Branding Iron in downtown Bayard has just that. Some of the Panhandle's tastiest flat iron steaks, ribeyes, and even prime rib. Pair that with a Western dining experience in our quiet dining room or fun-filled main dining area, you and your family are sure to have a great night out on the town. So if you're looking for a great new restaurant to try, you just gotta head on over to Bobby Joe's Branding Iron in Bayard. Open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch and dinner.
Panhandle Trails Intercity Public Transit, based in Alliance, Nebraska, is the only intercity bus serving Nebraska Panhandle communities and Pine Ridge, South Dakota. Panhandle Trails operates a regularly scheduled bus service, assisting you in making connections with Greyhound bus partners, regional airports, healthcare, employment and education opportunities, shopping, family, friends, and more. Panhandle Trails serves the general public of all ages and offers accessible transportation for those with special mobility needs. Let Panhandle Trails help you make your connection. Call 308-761-8747.
At Platte Valley Bank, we realize the way people want to bank in the future may be different than it has been. As comfort levels and desires vary by person, banking may be different for some, yet not for others. We offer the best of both worlds, a traditional banking experience with our friendly tellers and an online or mobile banking option with features that you can personalize and utilize anytime, anywhere you go. So you can bank how you want, when you want, and from where you want to. Platte Valley Bank.
And finally tonight, it's time once again to head over to the Panhandle Humane Society to meet their featured Pet of the Week.
Well, Marmaduke is a very special case. She is iffy around strangers. She's one that likes to see your face a couple of times before she can trust you. But she is such a sweet dog when she does. She likes to lay in the grass, and she likes to pretty much just be all over you. I have had her in training for this last week, and she has done tremendous progress. She is way better with strangers now than she was even a week ago. She's been here for almost 3 weeks, and we're starting to get there. She's getting a lot better. She likes to play tug of war. She's a bit of a diva, so she likes to be the only dog in the house, but she will be friends with other dogs. So if you have friends with other dogs, she's fine with that. She just likes to be the only dog in-house because she gets very jealous. Her adoption cost is $150, and it includes a free microchip. She comes fully vaccinated. She's already spayed, and she's already dewormed and all of that.
To meet Marmaduke or any of the dogs and cats they have available for adoption, you can head on over to the Panhandle Humane Society on the South Beltline Highway in Scottsbluff. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.